Sonia Booker.
This is the Sonia Booker Show, insight that builds wealth and confidence. Sonia Booker is president and CEO at Sonia Booker Enterprises, online at soniabooker.com. Helping you go from everyday living to wealth building, Sonia is an accomplished author and speaker, well known for her wealth building strategies and results. Here to inspire, inform, and empower. Your host, Sonia Booker.
Welcome to Conversations with Sonia, and I am Sonia Booker. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of bringing you a guest that is such a delight. That's the best way to describe her. And I met her a few months ago, and it was love at first bite, and it's been heavenly ever since. And so I really want to talk to Shay Renee, my guest today. Hey, Shay.
Hi, Sonia.
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
I am doing very well.
Good.
So let's get into it.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Sometimes I feel like because I know some of my guests, it's like I just, but I have to remember that the world doesn't know my guests. Mm-hmm. So please tell us, like, who is Shay Renee? Macarons and more.
Okay. Well, Shay Renee Macarons and More is my company. We have been in business for 3 years now. We are e-commerce. We specialize in French macarons with a little Southern finesse. And the Southern finesse is because we have flavors like peach cobbler and banana pudding, cinnabon, those type of flavors.
Okay.
And we ship all over the U.S., deliver all over Atlanta, and we always just want to bring Paris to your door.
That is so awesome. I mean, okay, so why macarons?
Well, I've been baking and doing desserts for over 20 years, about 26 years at the time that I decided to just narrow my choices down to the macaron.
Okay.
And that is because it is a high-end luxury product, and the clientele is totally different. And so for many years of doing cakes, I used to do cakes, 6-foot cakes and cakes, sparkles coming out of them. And being here in Atlanta, the cake industry is so saturated, but there's not many of us doing macarons.
Okay, so that was the way of you carving out a niche for yourself. In
absolutely.
Dessert, and then taking it up a notch to the luxury desserts.
Yes.
All right, so tell us, like, for my limited experience, because I really had not had one until I had yours, and I was like, what have I been missing? I need a subscription.
Yes.
So what is the difference? Is there a difference between macarons and macaroons, or is it like potato? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. So most of us have grown up with our grandparents eating macaroons, which looks like a little biscuit.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have coconut on them. Sometimes it has chocolate on it. But it kind of just looks like a little drop cookie.
Okay.
But the macaron is colorful, different colors, different flavors inside. And it's gluten-free.
Yeah. Will you make yours gluten-free, or it's just a gluten-free dessert?
Well, because of the recipe of a French macaron, it's made with almond flour.
Okay.
So the almond flour makes it gluten-free.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're able to distinguish. So like, I've had macaroons before. You're like, no, baby, that was your grandma's house. You haven't had a macaron.
Right.
Okay.
A Shay Renee macaron.
A Shay Renee.
Right. It's a big difference.
Oh.
It's a big difference.
Okay. So before you decided to drill down into this, what was it was it the flavors, or like how did you say mine are so different than anything else you'll taste? And you put that stamp on it and you're like, it's just different.
I'm a Southern girl.
Okay.
I'm from Georgia.
From Atlanta, Georgia.
From Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
But my roots are down south.
Okay.
So I grew up with, where everything is made from scratch.
Yeah.
fresh peaches, fresh strawberries, fresh fruits,
Yeah.
and if they want a puree or curd or custard, everything was made from scratch.
Mm,
And so that's what I grew up eating.
okay.
And it just brought me to like, okay, so the desserts that I like to eat,
Yeah.
like I like homemade banana pudding
Okay.
where you make the custard on top of the stove, not
Oh.
instant pudding.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so everything with my macarons, it's like I said, it's made from scratch. And so that peach cobbler, it's gonna taste just like your grandmother's peach cobbler, just without the crust.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's so amazing.
Yes.
And like every time I come in, contact with your macarons, it's like, which one am I gonna have? The green, the brown. And the last time I had, I don't know, it was like some kind of double Dutch chocolate situation going on. What is that one
Ah,
called?
that's that trio chocolate brownie.
Okay, and see, and I'm not even like I'm not a big dessert person, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big chocolate person. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever I've had they've always felt like just enough, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like it quenched, just
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, I
That's
didn't
what they
leave,
do.
and that's what they do.
Hmm.
Mm,
That's what they do. My macarons, the sugar was cut in half from a
oh,
standard macaron recipe
okay.
because a lot of people, what I kept hearing was, oh, those things are so sweet.
Mm,
Oh, I can't tell what it tastes like.
uh-huh.
And so I'm like,
Mm,
So I just kept messing with my recipe and I got that sugar down,
wow.
so that the true flavor of whatever it is, you can taste that and not just sugar.
Okay.
So when you eat a cheesecake macaron,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah,
taste
you taste
cheesecake
cheesecake.
and
That's
not
good.
just a mouthful of sugar
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh,
cheese.
uh-huh. I know, and it lets the flavor come
Yes.
through. Okay, all right.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I want to go a lot of different places with you because I met you in April.
Mhm.
And this is June.
Mhm.
And up until then, I never heard of a Shay Renee.
Mhm.
And now I feel like it's Shay Renee everywhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Okay, so let me
Oh, so you've tapped into this world.
I tapped into this world. Like, what? The Shay Renee
Yes.
world is
Yeah,
awesome.
it's exciting.
It's exciting. And so now
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. So let me just back up. We met, I was a facilitator for a Georgia Micro Enterprise Network
Mhm.
Pitch for Prosperity um, class
Right.
where I worked with a wonderful, amazing team there and Sonia Bates, right? So our whole goal was to put together a pitch for prosperity for women to be ready in 8 weeks to pitch
Mhm.
on a pretty national platform for
Right.
the pink and green tank.
Right.
And it just so happened I have a pink and green today. So for the pink and green tank. So, you know, it felt like Mission Impossible at first.
Mhm.
When I was like, okay, well, they have 8 weeks to be ready.
Mhm.
You guys came in and it was like, okay, tell me about your business. And I kind of thought like, I never think anything is impossible. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? But I
Mhm.
was like, we got a lot of work to
A
do.
lot of work. Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't know if you remember that first night when we met. I had everybody introduce their business,
Mhm.
and it was like the intros were so long
Mhm.
and the stories were so good.
Mhm.
And as the time went on, the stories they got shorter and shorter, and it was
Mhm.
all about like how do we refine
Right.
this? What
Right.
pieces? Because it's all so good, but I want to hear all of it so we'll
Right.
know like
What to pull
what
out.
to pull out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what to do. Because when you're doing a pitch, sometimes you have 2 minutes, sometimes you have 3 minutes. In
Mhm.
this case, we had like up to 3 minutes.
Mhm.
But it's like you have a lot to get out in a short time. And so
Mhm.
what are those things that like really hit and
Right.
make it stick?
Right.
And so met you and we're gonna talk about that after the break because I feel that you just kind of blossomed like right before my eyes. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh my gosh. She is the business of macarons. Like it went from the love of baking to I have a company to I am taking over and I am here.
Well, the thing is when I came in, I really didn't know what to expect,
Yeah.
right? But I was ready for everything that you were teaching us. And it's like I knew it was some different areas and different points that I needed to fine tune. It may have been some things I needed to remove. And so I was just so open to the feedback.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so once I got that feedback, then I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of just like that was the missing piece.
Uh-huh.
That was the missing piece.
Yeah.
And so just your instruction and your guidance helped to give me confidence because I realized in that process, I do know what I'm talking about.
And it was that your self validation and everything else that started to kind of reaffirm.
Yes.
Like I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I am. I know my business.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I am open minded.
Anything surprised you about like because going deep in terms of like not only pulling that out of your belly, but like understanding the landscape of the market, what market you're entering, what opportunities are there. Any of that like took you back and was like, wow.
Well, when I did my market research in the beginning of starting the business, I knew what was out there.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand what that meant.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So now here we are 3 years later, and now I'm actually having to present. So then when I went and did market research again for the pitch,
Yeah.
I started seeing myself in that.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
that was the difference.
Yeah.
When I saw it, when I did the market research in the beginning,
Yeah.
it kind of was like, I don't know if I can do that, but I mean, I have to write a business plan and I have to do this market research. So I'm just getting information.
Yeah.
But this time when I was getting the information, I was like, oh, I could make that happen.
Wow.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Really? He started with one store?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was just like I started being able to see myself in those competitors that are out there because one thing I understand is everyone has a starting point.
Right.
So
Yeah.
pretty much they started where I am right now.
And so you were in that, sometimes I call it like the ready, set, go, and you were in that almost like that go phase because it was like that 3 years you had done the work, been at it, set, you've been doing it. And it's like, so by the time you hit that, you were in go mode.
Yes.
And, so
and nothing was stopping me.
Giving me some fuel. You need this piece? Okay, I need that. Okay.
Yeah.
And it applied in real time. Wow.
Absolutely.
That's really good.
Absolutely.
That's really good.
And it was definitely all gas, no brake situation.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And the commitment showed, in terms of, we use a classroom model and, just getting the assignments and getting the stuff in. Like, I mean, sometimes I would see like, it could be 1 a.m. It could be like when your stuff is coming in, but it was like, oh, it's getting done, because and it showed that you were valuing what you were getting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the thing is, honestly, it was over 100 applications that were submitted,
Right.
and I was chosen.
Yeah.
So I was not going to let this opportunity just pass me by.
Yeah.
Like I was not going to just be like, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, no.
No, I'm in it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm in this to win it.
Yeah.
And I'm in this to provide a future for myself and for the people that I'm hiring.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to do the
I
work.
got too many people, like it's too much riding on.
Yes, because it's not just about me.
Yeah.
So I need to get this information. I need to do this work in order for that door to open for someone else.
So talk about, it's not just about me. Like you battled with some addiction yourself.
Yes.
Like, and were these like, what type of addiction?
Substance abuse.
So, okay, substance abuse. Okay. And so how long did you go through that period of your life?
20 years.
Really?
I was in my addiction for 20 years. And in that 20 years, I would pull life together for a little while and it's going great. And then the addiction will come back up,
Okay.
and it kept stealing my dreams every time.
Every time.
It just kept snatching it, kept snatching it. And that last time was the last snatch.
What was that? What was the last snatch like? Where were you mentally and otherwise of like that's the last snatch?
That last one was, I didn't know who I was.
Mm.
I no longer enjoyed life. I no longer enjoyed all the things of my colorful personality and my colorful life that I had previously.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy anything.
Okay.
I was just in a really dark place. My creativity was not there. I've always been an artist at heart, whether it was visual art, poetry, writing, what have you. I could not think of anything. I was not even inspired by my own pain.
Wow.
That's how numb I was
Wow.
and so out of touch. And so it was just like, Shay, you've gone too far.
This is your voice in your head to yourself. You've gone too far.
You've gone too far.
How did your father play a role in?
My father, so let me tell you, I didn't meet my dad until I was 19 years old,
Okay.
right? And the reason why was because he was in his addiction, right? So when I met my dad, he knew what was going on with me, but he didn't say anything because later on I found out he said that was a road you were going to have to travel and I would just need to be there when you fall.
Oh, wow.
And that's exactly what happened. When I came to my end, my dad was the one that introduced me to recovery and living a life without alcohol and drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So do
Yes.
you feel like addiction so by him having the addiction, or when people in general, I don't know, do you feel like if you're prone to it, that he really felt like you had to hit a wall, that sometimes you feel like you can rescue people out of something, but they have to be ready.
They have to be ready.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he
that's
did
what
share
that
with
was
me.
yeah, that when he saw that you would get ready, he could help you. But until then, he
Yeah.
knew that it would
Yeah.
not work that way.
It wasn't going to work until I was ready. And so when I was ready, that's when he was able to share what life and recovery looked like.
Wow.
And he was able to show me.
Wow. That's
And
beautiful.
so I always tell people that my mother gave me my morals and values,
Yeah.
but my dad taught me how to live.
How to live.
Yeah.
And in that how to live, and when I think about you, I think about the inspiration and just like, I don't know, I don't think you go into a room, I don't think you go anywhere and you don't inspire people intentionally or not. Like that's just who you are. So what's the difference? Like what was the difference? Like you said, the moral and the values, but teaching you how to live. How do we do that? And how did that click? And what's the difference? Like,
So morals, growing up, a child is taught right from wrong, what's good, what's bad, how to treat people, how to be mean, how to be happy, how to treat others, how you want to be, those are basics,
right.
right? But how do we enjoy the moment?
And do you feel like your mom, like, so it was just different?
Yes,
The
because
the relationship and I guess.
yeah, it was different because with her, it was like, this is right, this is wrong, this is what we need to do, and this is what's gonna happen.
But did she feel like happiness and being part of that was all that you needed?
Well, one thing I do know is that my parents only gave me what they were taught.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And that's
so she gave me what she was given, right? He gave me what he was given, but
Yeah.
only after he went in recovery.
Only after you went in. I appreciate your candidness and your openness and your willingness to share like your life. How do you think that that has been very key
Hmm.
to like your journey and success to really
Hmm.
just be that open and sharing that?
Absolutely, because it allows me to be me.
Mm-hmm.
It allows Shay to show up
Yeah.
in whatever space I am as the person that I'm meant to
Yeah.
be. And
Yeah.
I'm so comfortable in my skin that no matter what room I'm in, people are
Yeah.
going to feel my warmth. They're going to feel my spirit.
Yeah.
They're going to feel my love. They're going to hear the passion,
Yeah.
and they're going to be inspired
Mm-hmm.
because of
Because
what
you're
I have
you're
been able to go through.
yeah, and
Yeah.
your authenticity, your authentic self
Yes.
is what I
Yes.
think people really, that's the free living
Mm-hmm.
and the I think that just heightened living when you can live that way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think a
Absolutely.
lot of people aspire to live that way. And when they see people that are
Mm-hmm.
like in their truth and their
Mm-hmm.
freedom and then all of
Mm-hmm.
that, I think that
The good and the
yeah,
bad,
yeah, yeah. I
the
was
not so
that's I was like,
pretty.
oh my gosh, like I don't want that part. All right, and so here you are, 3 years with the business, and I remember us having a conversation, and we would do these kind of one-on-ones, and I remember you saying, I don't know. Okay, so in terms of like your faith for your business, because that's the part that I really, to me, that's the nitty gritty,
Mm-hmm.
of like the rubber meeting the road.
Right.
Where is your faith, your purpose, your
Mm-hmm.
passion? Like, how does all of that align? But I remember you saying in a complete faith walk, like it's time for me to leave my
Mm-hmm.
day job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like on the phone going, well, heck, how does she even have a day job? I mean, like, what, all this she doing? I was
Yeah.
in shock that like you even had a day job
Mm-hmm.
to leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you knew that you had come to the end of that. And it
Yes.
was like some of these decisions and some of these roads that you were on, it was like these preparations that,
Yes.
yeah, like you were like, so let me just say, Shay Renee wins the pitch competition. The Pink and Green Tank wins that.
Yes.
I mean, I was like sitting there as the proud, sister, mama, step, whatever, like in the audience, like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
But you told me like a couple weeks leading up to
Mm-hmm.
that, like, I'm putting in my notice. It's
Mm-hmm.
time for me to go.
Yes.
Well, how do you get to that decision? Because I think that a lot of people are on the fence,
Mm-hmm.
and and nobody's ever saying just go quit your job with no
Right.
plan or no anything. But how did you get to that decision, and how did you know?
Okay. So every move that I've made from the beginning has been led by God.
Mm,
I have not made a move without him. Because see, everything that I've gone through before, that was my own will. So I'm real
mm,
clear what that looks like, right?
mm.
So every move that I've made has been very strategic, and I would sit and I would pray and I would wait and I would listen and I would
Do
pay
you
attention.
journal a lot too?
Yes. And I pay attention to my spirit, that thing right there. Um, I've told many people no. I turned down many jobs,
Yeah.
events,
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not telling me to do that. So fast forward about September of last year, June was in my spirit. I said, okay,
June was in
June.
your spirit.
Hmm.
Okay.
I said, okay, by the end of June. And I was like, really? It's like, I was at peace. Every
Uh-huh.
time I said June, I was at peace. I said, okay. All right, well, let me, make sure I'm doing what I need to do.
Wow.
I start preparing, right? because once I leave my job, I'm no longer up under their life insurance. So I need to get life insurance.
Yeah.
Once, I'm not going to be up under their health insurance. Let me start shopping around for health insurance.
Okay, so you
What
just
is,
like
oh
started
yeah, I
putting all
started
of these things in place.
one at a time. And then I've listened to a lot of the women in my circle. Because I surround myself with women who are making change, women who are climbing the ladder of their own success. Women who have already paved the way. Women, I surround myself with women who are just empowered,
Yeah.
and I listen to them.
Yeah.
And it's like I keen in on those that God has sent to me. And I listen and I ask questions. And, it's so many women out there, it's two or three in particular that I listen to them. And it's almost like I hear what my next step is, because he uses people to speak. He speaks to me directly too. But it'll be something that, either Karen Hilton or Cheryl Pelot Williamson will say. And I'm like, oh, that was the next
That's
step.
the next step.
Because those are my two top, right? Mentors, and I just pay attention because I'm like, you've already done this. So why would I think that you wouldn't have the answer for me?
Yeah.
That's just like with my dad. I trust him because he's already gone down this road. So what he says, I believe. So that's how this has happened with me, is that keeping God first and paying attention. Don't be in a rush. You're not in a race.
Right.
I'm not in a competition. This is the vision he gave me.
Yeah.
So I need to pay attention because
To all the provision that he's providing for the vision.
Don't skip a
Yeah.
step.
Yeah. That's good.
And so I've been able to just kind of wait in that hallway sometimes. And sometimes it feels like, like I want to get a little restless. But then I say, Shay, remember the last time you got restless?
Yeah, and went ahead or got ahead.
Remember
got
what
ahead.
happened?
Yeah.
When you, and so, and because I keep God first and I keep my recovery second, I'm like, by the time I get to me, I done already made a decision either from what God said or the fact that I want to stay in recovery.
Yeah. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because see, once I get to me, ain't no telling what I do.
She already know.
Right. She'll be like, boom,
track record.
But, just yielding to the Spirit of God, and listening and waiting. And like I said, September, it was like Spirit kept saying June. I said, okay, June. And I just start making preparations, continue to put myself in circles, continue getting these macarons to people. And just believing in myself, believing in my product, and just knowing God has the last say in all of this. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good. Okay, so as we close out, what is it that you would want? Because it's so much more. Number one, I want everybody to follow Shay Renee. I want go website. Is it Shay Renee?
Everything is Shay Renee Macarons. My website, social media, Shay Renee Macarons, Shay Houston.
Shay Houston.
Yes.
Go follow, order, subscribe, all of that stuff. But as we close, what is it that we understand your why. It's so huge. It's what gets you up. And let me just say, you're providing such a platform for your vision for workers, for bakers, for really just building a global footprint and a global business.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
does that scare you at all?
It makes me have butterflies. Because I've always said from the beginning, it's so much bigger than the macaron. It's so much bigger than that.
So the Shay Renee Houston empire, we just don't claim the whole empire here, is so much more. And what should we expect next? What's next? We don't know because God hadn't given it.
Look, It's a couple things
Mhm.
that's sitting up here,
Mhm.
but I don't know which one he's going to tell me to do next.
Yeah.
But just know that anything he tells me to do is nothing but greatness,
Nothing but greatness. Nothing
and
but
done in
greatness.
excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Will you continue to inspire us and change the world one macaron
One
at a
macaron at a time.
time? And
Yes.
we're just ever so grateful to have, experienced you and to be able to
Yes.
watch you up close and personal and at a distance. And so
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me,
Oh my
Sonia. I have
goodness.
truly enjoyed myself.
This is so awesome. And so make sure you're following Shay Renee Macrons and go to her website, subscribe. Find her at the next place she's at. Get an order. You will be blown away. All right. This is Sonia. And until the next time, happy wealth building.